All right, everyone, we have a geopolitical conundrum to grapple with here, which is Rafah, specifically the city of Rafah in the Gaza Strip. Of course, the Rafah crossing has been taken over by the IDF. They told the Egyptians normally manage it, hey, we're taking control of this. It's ours now, basically. We're annexing this small strip of land, and Egypt, of course, tends to work with Netanyahu fairly well, and so like, okay, you can control the Rafah crossing. Rafah currently holds about half of Gaza's population. It's one of the few cities left in Gaza that is, well, not really functional, but, you know, there are buildings there. Buildings that actually still have roofs. They've bombed most of the rest of them. The rest of Gaza is wreckage. It's smoldering ruin. It's completely wrecked. I don't even know how you fucking rebuild it. It'd take decades of effort, huge amounts of money, enormous resources, and the Israelis have throttled the resources to Gaza anyway for a long time because Hamas always smuggles the shit in and then uses it to build more tunnel systems, the tunnels that they're currently flooding with seawater as we speak. Rafah, therefore, is home to half the refugee population of Israel. Hamas is embedded there. It's a holdout for them, tens of thousands of Hamas fighters. Israel's like, well, we promised we're going to eliminate Hamas, which they won't do, but you know, they're trying to degrade them as much as possible. In order to do that, they want to evacuate Rafah. The problem is that, and as they, you know, effectively lay siege to it, they've surrounded it. There's no going in or out of Rafah unless the IDF knows who you are. The problem is, where are you going to evacuate the people to? I talked about this the other day. There's nowhere for them to go. They can go to a tent city set up by the UN or something like that, or some international aid organization where they can be kept on life support. You know, okay, here's your civilian MRE and a couple bottles of water. I don't know where you're going to go to the bathroom because we don't have enough porta potties. Medicine, well, all your doctors are unemployed. Doctors Without Borders will come in and, you know, they'll try to keep a cholera outbreak from happening. Now, where are they supposed to go? Again, Israel has lost the optic war against Hamas. At this time, Israel has lost the propaganda war. Physically speaking, they control Gaza. They've already annexed it. They've already expressed intent to control Gaza. And I'm not team, again, a disclaimer, I'm not team Israel or team Palestine. I'm team America. And I'm team leave it alone and whatever happens, happens. And it's very unfortunate on both sides. And nobody should be taken hostage. No civilian should ever get vaporized. No kid should have to watch their parents struggle across the sand with one leg missing, bleeding out slowly and crying for help. Shouldn't be happening. All of this was avoidable. It goes back to the fact that the United States made the terrible decision of electing a goddamn vegetable. That's why this war popped off. It's the fault of the Biden administration more than literally anyone else. Yes, it's more their fault than Hamas's fault. Because Hamas wouldn't have dared to do this if Trump were in the White House. Because they would have gotten curb stomped. They would have gotten kicked in the ribs a couple of times. And they would have knocked it off. Now, do you have weak leadership in the West, in the main country that promotes Israel and defends it diplomatically, and so they look feckless and weak? No shit. Hamas decided to mobilize its paraglider air force in order to cross the border. I wasn't surprised in the least when it happened. It's unfortunate, but it wasn't exactly a surprise. We've seen multiple wars popping off recently, and we could get a couple more before Biden is hopefully out of office. Imagine if Kamala were the president. She might be crazy. They might be afraid of her because they're like, well, you know, she does seem like a psycho bitch. Maybe she would press the little red button, so we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if she's reelected, which probably wouldn't happen. The conundrum is that if you've got that many people, again, twice the population of fucking Boston, packed into a jam-crowded area in largely squalor, there's no electricity or sporadically, there's no running water for the most part, entirely reliant upon outside aid. And you've got a couple tens of thousands of Hamas members embedded with them, and you don't necessarily know who's who. How do you, in an orderly and proper manner, actually evacuate them, and where do you evacuate them to? The logistics that Netanyahu suggests, it's not entirely clear that they're possible. It's not entirely clear that you can have an orderly process to sort the people and try to imprison, I guess, the Hamas fighters as everyone files out of the city in any form of orderly fashion. You also risk the population, the civilians, rioting. While the IDF controls Gaza, If you had a couple 100,000 civilians start throwing rocks at you, it's not going to damage a tank, but you don't have a tank on every street corner. I think it would become a logistic nightmare and lead to a massacre. So I don't know exactly what the way forward is. And I've warned for months. It's like destroying Hamas. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. The terrorists, that's perfectly fine. How do you do that without, continuing your 2-for-1 killing civilians? Over 20,000 civilians have died in Gaza already. It's the population of a city commensurate with like the size of the Rutland metro area. And it rises every single day. Then there are the indirect deaths. The lack of a medical system means much higher infant mortality. Many more women dying when they're giving birth, because there are a lot of kids, a lot of fertile women apparently in Palestine. Young population mainly. Other basic care. So, you get sick normally, if you're significantly ill, you go to the doctor. Well, what doctor are you going to go to? The Doctors Without Borders tent, probably the most hip location for the hip party zone for all of the Gaza Strip right now. What is the end goal here? The stated end goal is the destruction of Hamas. How, though, pragmatically can you actually do that? This is the problem of symmetric forces attempting to fight asymmetric ones. It's all in the logistics. It just doesn't... all of your pie in the sky sort of bullshit sounds really great on paper. Oh, well, we'll evacuate Rafah. We'll sort out the Hamas fighters. We'll bomb a few buildings. And then this will be over. Hamas is effectively decrepitated at that point and can't function. There's not enough of them left. Until the next generation, because you've killed so many civilians, a lot more people will be recruited by Hamas. You've effectively annexed the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu has effectively alluded to this. What do you do from there? And how, by the way, diplomatically can you weather the storm when even the U.S. government is now souring on your expedition? Saying, well, I think this is going too far, and something needs to give. And it's like they're not going to listen to Joe Biden because he's not going to do anything about it, but they're beginning to grumble. Blinken is beginning to grumble. Best case scenario, I think, is Trump is reelected, and he solves the problem. Yes, he might finally get his solution in that region that he failed at before. He did the Abraham Accords and moving the embassy and stuff, but other than him being there and things therefore being more calm because people were afraid of the United States bombing them, other than that, there's no real change. If Trump gets in there a second term, though, I think one of the first things that he'll do is call up Bibi. And he'll say, knock it the fuck off because I'm getting tired of this shit. You could get away with it under Biden because he's not going to do anything about it. But what if I withhold the next aid package? Now, it wouldn't be a good look for you, now would it? The Democrats, by the way, will support me if I do that. I don't even have to work with my own party, so shut the fuck up. And then he orders things. But Biden's not going to do that. Biden doesn't even know where he is. He doesn't even know where he lives right now. Oh, come on, man, where's my home? Sir, you're in the White House. Oh, okay. I thought I was in Delaware. That's about all. Peace out.